something beautiful is on its way to you. This is the experience of a lifetime, my dear friend. You want to give yourself this at all costs to your ego, your pride, and your fears. Love, it's everywhere. It's beautiful, it lives within, it doesn't need to be created. It is already there for you. We've hiked down 3 canyons and here we are. Let's shoot it, baby. I feel the funky chicken, the funky Messiah. Yeah! Search for yourself on your own. Go within yourself. Find it within your breath, within your very spirit.
Mrs. Nixon is done.
Now I want to do a little magic trick. A spiritual path brings us to a place in our life where we discover the diamond and we learn how to pull it out of the mud. It's all very interesting. You know, when you get away from society and people for a little while, you begin to understand what makes society and people the way they are. We're always trying to prove ourselves, prove our existence. And we try to prove our existence through the world. We all want to be important and special and loved and beloved. The sad part about it all is that no matter how you keep your body fit, or you have great finances, or you have lots of people love you, you're going to die anyway. And the whole idea of life for us is to survive, to stay alive, to be comfortable, to be powerful, we like to believe, to be secure, and to prove that we're important people. The bottom line is you want to be important. Everybody does. And in doing so, trying to find our importance through the world is the very reason we suffer. And I'll tell you why. Because when I try to prove my existence through the world, I will use fear and hate as my motive and as my energy. Love does not need to prove itself at all. And when you and I come to a place inside of our life where we're willing to let love live us, to let life live us, that's when we've come to the point of it all. I've come to this beautiful forest in the Northern California redwoods. These are like huge whales that swim in the earth. And they don't need to prove their existence. It isn't their size that proves their existence, it's their silence. The forest is a very quiet place. And there's something happening here that you can actually feel inside of yourself if you're very still. I admire trees because they don't need to prove themselves. They live in a harmony in this forest that's very interesting. And they don't fight with each other and compete with each other. They learn to live with each other in a certain kind of way. You and I make choices in this life, don't we? It's either going to be love or it's going to be hate that we're going to live by. If I live by hate, it's because I'm trying to prove myself. The reason for all of my suffering in this life isn't because God is angry with me or I've done something really wrong. My suffering is based on my need to prove myself and my own existence, and how animate I am about proving myself and my own existence. Do you know you exist? The only way most people know the way they exist is through other people. They only know they exist through what other people say of them, what other people think about them, the reactions you get from people. That's the way most people know that they exist. Do you think these trees need to know that I acknowledge them for them to exist? I don't think so. They live in a love that is far beyond mind and body. You know, we are all born in a tremendous love, but we die in the regret of our hatred, our anger, and our fear a great deal of the time. Most of us can't even tell the difference between love and gratification. That's why we like hate so much. Hate is very gratifying. Anger is extremely gratifying. And when you feel gratified about anything, I know you don't believe me, but it's true. It's a subtle form of hatred. That's why we live in such regret most of our life. How many times can you see something before it becomes obsolete to you, meaningless, before it becomes passé, habit? Look at your life for a moment. It used to be fresh and beautiful. Every time you looked at it, it was wondrous. It was a great mystery. You didn't ask in those days what the point of it all is. You kind of went into the mystery. You played with it. And then the mind looks at it over and over and over again, gets very analytical, thinks those two thoughts that it has, right and wrong, good and bad, that's the only two thoughts it has. And before you know it, life becomes boring. You've figured out this, you think you've figured out that, you figured out how these trees grow, you figure out where they are, you figure out how many years they've been there. So what, you say? I've learned it. I'm done with it. Isn't that the way we live our life? You think you've learned and done it all, been there, done that, been there, done that. You've heard the old saying. What's left? Where is the uniqueness, the freshness, the beauty of it all? The mind destroys our life. It destroys every relationship we have, but more importantly, it doesn't prove your existence. If you need to prove your existence, then you are seeking gratification through hatred and anger. Rather than seeking gratification and anger in your existence through what you call the world, why not find out who and what you are? That's the real key. And that has nothing to do with philosophy or religion or what you believe in or what you don't believe in. It has to do with how you feel on the inside. Only when I am willing to feel love inside of me, to allow love to make all things new again, which is a very profound statement, do things change in my life. I think the worst thing we do is let our mind take away the meaning of our life and its significance through habit and repetition. One of the most important things you'll ever learn about your life is how not to be fooled by what's going around you in your world. Life has nothing to do with the world. The world is one thing. Jesus said it. Live in the world, but don't let the world live in you. That's a very powerful statement. This means that there's going to be dark times in the world. We cause a lot of mischief as human beings on this planet. We create wars and we start doing all sorts of things to the economy, and there'll always be problems with our ecology too. So it's natural that these problems are going to exist because of the nature of our respect or the lack thereof for spiritual life. But when they happen, the object is to understand what's going on inside of me. A lot of the dark times that I've had in my life, much like you, is due to my own ignorance. My willful stubbornness not to move on in my life. Like the trees here, many of them fall and they become mulch for their fellow trees. A lot of the dark times that you and I have are mulch for the light times that are about to be there if I'm very astute and I can listen and understand the message of the moment, which is always about me letting go of my hatred or my fear to reach love at all costs, to my comfort, my security, and my need for gratification. I can't tell you how seductive hatred is and anger because it's so gratifying. I mean, rightness, entitlement, they're very gratifying emotions. And especially when you think you're right, then you think, oh my God, I'm so right, then everything I must do is right. Oh, the world has not appreciated me, and it goes on and on and on to this narcissistic belief that we're wonderful. Listen to me. Try to understand. The most beautiful and brave thing a human being can do is give up what they believe in for the sake of their life. It means I can't judge what's going on in the world and think, well, I caused it, or I'm a part of it, or I'm not a part of it. We're a part of everything. The object is to see what is it I need to let go of on the inside of myself that equates to my own self-destructiveness. A lot of that has to do with what we believe is right and wrong, good and bad. What the point of it all is, give up your morality. and you will give up your mortality. And once you've given up your morality and your mortality, you come to a very unique place in your life, a place where you can live as a spiritual being. Not as a human being disguised as a spiritual being, but truly as a spiritual being, which is what you and I are. A lot of our pain and suffering in this life is caused because we just really don't want to give up our human side. We just think it's the most wonderful thing on the planet. And while I'm okay with being human, I certainly wouldn't want to give up that other side, that other shore inside of me for my hatred and my fear. I want to ask you to do some daring things. I want you to be overwhelmingly compassionate to yourself and to other people, mainly to yourself, because if you're compassionate to yourself, you're going to be compassionate with somebody like me. The thing that is really important about compassion is it opens up doors. It allows me to be forgiving. Then I'm not living in the past anymore, and off the dead remains of my carcasses that I left back in my childhood or in my adolescence or even in my adult life, where I just feed off the pain and the guilt and the shame of that, and I don't go forward in my life. You can't go forward in your life clinging to your past. You need to look inside yourself. What is it in me that seeks to go to the path of the light? These trees, they climb to reach the light. It's interesting. Light plays a very big role in them. Light is a vibration. Light is a sound as well as something you think you see. And what does it do? It makes things grow. Go towards the light inside you that is in your heart. Learn the language of this life, which is silence. And when you start practicing being willing to be ruthless enough on the inside to let go of your past, your guilt, your shame, your anger, your fear, you'll find that you're not living passive-aggressive anymore. Now there's an opportunity for change. You'll have a time of remorse maybe in your life where you see what's happened, how you've lived, and you would choose no longer to do that. You're not held to your past. This moment is everything. This moment is your life. And if you are willing to live it with a little courage, to reach love inside of you and to live as love, you're going to find that like these trees, you sustain a lot of history, but more importantly, you've reached the light inside of you. Most people miss the point of it all. The point of it all is that there's really no point unless there's love. And when there's love, everything makes sense, if you know what I mean. I've got a wonderful meditation I want to share with you. It's called The Soul of the Heart, and it's a meditation that we use at ASILOMAR to help my students unwind and kind of let go of their unconscious mind so they can have a little more peace, and when they come back the next day for the retreat that they kind of feel refreshed. The soul of the heart. The heart has its own little soul, its own essence, its presence. And when you start viewing life from the heart, you start seeing things from a different perspective. You start seeing what is possible instead of what's impossible. You stop looking at life from conflict. You start looking at it from the resolution of the heart. So this little meditation is what I suggest that you practice. It's real simple. The beauty of it is that it allows the unconscious mind to download itself so you can have a little rest, and then it brings you into the heart, breathing in and out of the heart, and allows you to have some space with your heart before you go to sleep at night. It works this way. You take 3 breaths. You take them in, you breathe in, 1, 2, 3, and hold. And then you release. And then you take in 2 breaths. 1, 2 breaths and hold. And then 1 breath and hold. And then no breath and just hold. As you hold that breath for just a few moments, you will start to feel your heartbeat, because inside the CD is the beating of the heart, and you drop your awareness down to the heart and just lay there, and you breathe in and out of it naturally, and You go back and you breathe 3 times, just as I said, then 2, then 1, then back into the heart. I'm going to ask my 2 students to do this with us. It's a very simple meditation, but the beauty of it is, and I want to remind you of this, is that at night it will formulate a deep rest in you. You're going to be letting go of that mind that is always creating dreams and aggravations for you, situations in your dreams. You don't want to have situations in your dreams that keep you up and don't allow you to rest. Remember, it's all illusion anyway. None of it's for real. So what we're doing is skipping over the illusion and going into the presence, the soul of the heart. All right, let's take 3 long breaths in. 2, 3, hold. Bring yourself down into the heart and release. Now let's take 2 breaths in. 1, 2, hold. And release. Now let's take 1 breath in. Hold. Release. Now hold on the exhale. And feel your heart. Let go of your mind. Again, 3 breaths in. Hold. And release. Very simple meditation. 2 breaths in. Hold. Release. 1 breath in. Hold. Release. And hold out that, just holding that breath. Feel your heart. 1 more time, please. 3 breaths in. 2, 3. Hold. Go down into your heart chakra and release, please. 2 breaths in. 1, 2. Hold. And release. 1 breath in. Hold. And release. And hold on the exhale. And just let yourselves now relax. Now this little meditation done over and over again, and we put a heartbeat in the background for you on the CD, will help you feel rested inside, secure. But more importantly, you're downloading your head a little bit and all the thoughts and the neurons and the things that go around in our minds day in and day out that totally confuse us, give us mixed messages, and actually put us in conflict with our own rest. It is important that we learn to rest. But if you're going to rest, let's not try to do it through the head. The best place to rest is through the heart. I hope you enjoyed this meditation. We're going to take a real short break and we'll be right back. Don't go away. The one thing I want you to take away from this particular program is that you don't have to be perfect to be loved, and you don't have to prove your own existence. If you are trying to prove yourself in the world, trying to prove that you matter or that you're important, you're going to be miserable. There will always be greater and lesser people than ourselves. Desiderata was right. The thing that's most important is not whether or not you're important, but are you original? Are you your original self, your unique voice, your unique ear? Are you authentic? Be authentic in the things that you think, say, and do. How? Find that which lives inside of you. Be true to your heart, and always be willing to betray your hatred. Always be willing to betray your unkindness. Always be willing to betray the lack of forgiveness you want to bestow upon someone to make them feel bad. Betray your shame at all costs to your happiness and life. That is what you have to do. And if you're not willing to do that, then you just fall into the gap where everybody else is, where everybody's going, well, yeah, you were right for saying that. You were right for being cruel over there, and you were right for not forgiving, and yada, yada, yada. It gets ugly. The most beautiful thing in this life is the point of it all. And the point is about one single thing. Find yourself in love, and the rest answers itself. You don't need anything more or anything less in your life. You know, I sit here in this beautiful forest, and right now there is nothing I could ever want for. This moment is everything, and I'm very grateful to be here. These trees give their life that I could talk to you on this program. And when you look at it from that point of view, everything is sacred. Please forgive me, won't you? Namaste. They live in a love that is far beyond mind and body. There is no wind in my tunnel.
Oh, yeah! No, I just took a punch from one of these trees. I want to tell you, they exist.
I found a gnome in there. Right in there. Can you see the gnome? You don't see the gnome?
Was that human or what? Boom! They exist. I took it. Rocky takes a blow.
You really give people their entertainment value on Sunday mornings.
I don't think I'm very entertaining. The gnome gnomes everything. All right, let's go. I'm going to be a video game soon.
I've already
The Greg Penn video game, how to reach enlightenment. Got to get around the devil and get to Lao Tzu and then to Jesus and then to Buddha. And then you reach, and like Candyland. You know, you jump from little things to little things. Enlightened land.